A very common problem that many people experience with the next generation firewall is that if there is, for whatever reason, a problem with the SSL inspection, then the firewall can't see the application layer data, and it therefore can't do analysis looking for things like malware and viruses. So it's important to make sure we have that in place. So in this video, what I like to do is demonstrate what it looks and feels like if we don't have that SSL inspection working on our firewall. So currently on this firewall, if we go down to policies and objects in our firewall policy, currently we have this inspection profile for SSL called our SSL outbound inspection. And by hovering on it here, we can click on edit and take a look at the details. And this inspection profile is doing full SSL inspection, sometimes called deep inspection. And that allows it to do the actual proxy work and be the man in the middle between a client and the outside world when the sites they're going to. And that's the reason the firewall can identify the malware, is because it can see that traffic unencrypted for a moment. So we'd cancel that. Let's go back and let's actually make another outbound inspection policy that's not doing the deep inspection. So we'll go down to our security profiles. We'll click here on our SSH inspection profiles, and let's just duplicate the outbound inspection one we have here. We'll right click, we'll clone it, and we'll call this temp SSL outbound inspection. Click on OK. And then in that temp inspection profile, we'll go ahead and modify it, and we'll say instead of doing full inspection, let's just do basic SSL certificate inspection and click on OK. And then we'll go ahead and apply that to our firewall policy. So back to policy and objects, to our firewall policy we go. And under security profiles, I'm going to click on the little edit here with the pencil and scroll all the way down. Instead of using our SSL outbound inspection, let's use our temporary one. So we'll select that, click on apply. And now we're no longer doing the deep packet inspection. We're checking certificates, but we're not doing the man in the middle effectively to see the traffic naked for a few seconds as it goes through the firewall. So to verify that, we can bring back our client. So this is our Linux client. And let me just go to a website real quick. We'll go to Fortinet again. Click on refresh a couple times. And if we click on the lock and click on connection is secure, and then click on the certificate information here, it's not showing that the certificate for Fortinet was issued by our own local CA. And as a result, we're not playing that man in the middle game, and we're not having a chance to correctly analyze all the traffic. So if we close that, and let's go back to our website here that has all these links conveniently for us. Let's go ahead and right-click on icar.com, open a new tab. Oh, and now it's complaining about the SSL certificate being expired. All right, let me modify our SSL profile here for a moment. So we'll hover over our SSL profile, click on edit, and go down. And as far as expired certificates, we'll go ahead and allow it and click on OK. And let's try that one more time from the client. All right, so back at the client, let me refresh the page again. Also, I want to verify that we're not in the middle of this with the SSL proxy by going to connection is secure, certificate is valid, and sure enough, this is not a certificate that was issued by my local CA. That's a certificate that was issued by a CA on the public internet. All right, so having done that, let's go ahead and right-click on icar.com, open a new tab, and it was downloaded. And we'll go to icar.zip, open a new tab, and it's downloaded. And everybody's downloading. And everything's being downloaded because the firewall does not have the ability to see that content naked. It's all encrypted with HTTPS. And so all of these are going to go through. So here's icar.tar. Now that one we had a challenge with earlier. I think the URL for that, there's a problem with certificate. So when we were doing SSL inspection, something about the URL with this specific one, I think, was causing a problem. So we'll go down to icar.com.gz, open a new tab. There that is. Here's icar.cab, open a new tab. So even though we have a perfect AV profile, the fact that our firewall is not getting in the middle of it with deep SSL inspection, that is what's preventing the firewall from correctly analyzing the payloads. So let's go ahead and modify that and put the original SSL inspection profile back. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to just click on edit here for the service profiles. Down at the bottom, we'll grab our outbound SSL inspection, which has the deep inspection on it, and click on apply. So back at the client, let's go ahead and do a few things. Number one is I want to go ahead and go back to settings. I want to clear all my browsing history here and data. Make sure that nothing is being cached over. So we'll clear data. Then we'll go back to that site. I'll hit refresh a few times and just verify that we are indeed in the middle of that. So we'll click on the lock. Click here where it says connection is secure. Click on certificate and just verify that it's been issued by our local CA. That looks good. And let's go ahead and try a few. Let's go ahead and grab the zip file. So we'll go ahead and click on the zip file. And sure enough, that's been blocked. We'll go ahead and we'll click on icar2 zip. That's been blocked. And iCar3zip, and that's been blocked. Also, previously we had a challenge with, I think it was the tar file. Let's click on that. Yeah, that made it. So there's something with the URL associated with that tar file where the SSL decryption isn't working perfectly. And that would explain why that file could be downloaded if the SSL decryption had a problem with playing that man-in-the-middle game between this and wherever that site is. So we can do further investigation and testing on that. But for now, I just want to reinforce the idea that if we don't have the SSL inspection and we're not having the firewall get in the middle of the conversation, all of these files, if they're going over HTTPS, would be able to come down right to the client, and the firewall wouldn't have any idea that the malware was going through it. So the great news is we do have the inspection profile now applied, which is allowing that man-in-the-middle approach. And so if we go down to our logging, down to log and report, and then go down to antivirus, there's our test files that we did a while ago, and in a few moments, it does take a few minutes for it to show up. In a few moments, we'll have the latest and greatest ones here as well. And there we go right there. So there's the ones we just tested a few moments ago. And if we go back to our antivirus profile, under security profiles, antivirus, and take a closer look at it, one of the other options we have here, if we scroll down, one of the other options we have here is use an external malware block list. And so in the next video, I'd like to walk you through an example of training your FortiGate to refer to an external list, which we can then have updated and maintained as additional ways of identifying and preventing malware and viruses from entering our network. So I'll see you in the next video for that in just a moment. Meanwhile, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.